All right, everybody, welcome back to another Funded Trader podcast. I'm here today, joined by Darren, one of our funded traders. We flew him out here to Miami. He's here for the weekend. It's good to have you here, Darren.
Thanks, man. It's a pleasure.
Welcome.
Honor and a privilege.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to you guys hearing Darren's story. He's been on the pod a few times now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's been on the Zoom podcast. He's done the AMA before, and now he's going to be doing the in-person podcast. So he is a veteran of the podcast. But yeah, it's definitely good to talk to you again. And you've got a pretty crazy story and one that relates to everyone. That's kind of everyone out there. Maybe it's not like really crazy, but like it does relate. All right, so we'll open it up, give some people a bit of background, where you're from, everything like that, and then we'll get into it.
Yeah, I'm from Maryland. I'm 36 years old. I started trading forex back in 2021, or 2020, I should say. I bought the Forex League course in 21 after taking a couple other courses. I was really brought into it or attracted to it by Nick and Angelo because they were really consistent with like the market analysis weekly. So it was something I could actually digest and really see, people trading the market, not necessarily live, but hey, they put an analysis out for the week and I can come back and follow up. I can use it as a basis just to make sure I'm looking at the right types of things. When we started with that, I ended up getting their full-time membership. With that, a lot of opportunities came because there's like one-on-one mentorship at the beginning. They kind of evolved into the group meetings, which have been like extremely pivotal for me.
Which were new when you kind of got in. They were new, and then they evolved into doing one-on-ones and group trainings, right, and Hanzino leading trainings and stuff like that. Shout out Hanzino. So right. So yeah, you definitely were part of the first group that got to experience all of that stuff, and you're pretty active, right, in the Discord, meeting a lot of people. What's been your strategy behind that? Not strategy, but just like you obviously are just like your goal, it seems like, is to just meet as many people as possible that are trading, get ideas from them and stuff, right? Like explain to me like the thinking behind that, because some people just don't do that. Yeah.
So for me, it's really I tried to go against the grain a lot of times, and there's a lot of people that are when they're trading and they're talking about what they're doing, they're really secretive about it, and they're like top secret weapon, like I can't let anybody know what I'm doing because they're gonna do it better than me or something. And it's like I feel like I need to do the opposite of that. Like if I want to learn things and evolve and get better, I need to see what everybody's doing. If you're trading moving averages or smart money concepts or anything, there's something to be learned from everybody.
Right.
And a part of getting better at trading is like that the Japanese Kaizen, like that continuous improvement. And in order to continuously improve, you got to be out there. Like most breakthroughs are going to come from outside of your system. Your breakthrough isn't going to come through, within your four walls. You're going to get it from somewhere else. So for me, it's really just getting out there and talking to people. I said it on the other podcast, R&D, like research and development. Mm-hmm. For me, research and development is rip off and duplicate. Rip off and duplicate. Like if you're doing something that's working and I like it, I'm taking it.
Right.
And I'm gonna give you feedback on it, and then you can give me feedback, and we can both grow.
Right.
And that's why I'm active in the communities, because we can get further together.
Right.
Rather than me testing something out, like you might run into something next week that I missed or whatever. It's just community. I mean,
would you say that you're like a social person, normally, or no?
It depends.
Because some people are not doing this. Like they're not collaborating, right? They're not meeting new people, sharing ideas and stuff. And you're very open to doing that.
Yeah.
Right?
So I'm not a social person per se. I said like if there's a scale of like introvert to extrovert, I'd be closer to the introvert side.
Right.
Like barely. But for me, being social and networking are like two different things. I keep them separate. So like networking isn't being social for me. Networking is business. Networking
has like a purpose.
Right. Yeah. I'm not being social to look cool or to have fun or whatever. I'm being social to get information and make connections with people that I can, build stuff with later.
Yeah. And it's kind of like you said, you give somebody one piece of information, benefits them. You can get some piece of information from them, benefits you. So it's like a two-way street. So that's interesting. Yeah. Because the whole social. So for anyone that's listening that's not that social, right? It doesn't matter, Right? When it comes to business, it's like how much purpose you have behind what you're doing.
Right. You got to be very tactical about it. You can't be shy or anything. Like, talk to people. If they're not giving you information or they're not willing to share, like, go somewhere else.
I think the most successful people that have done the Forex League mentorship have been people who have been extremely active in the Discord and meeting other people and just openly sharing tons of ideas and being really transparent, right, about like what's going on. The people that like buy the course, and this is really any course, right? Not just Forex League, but they buy the course and they just hide in their room and they don't come to the webinar, and then they're like, Angelo fucked me, with the program, and I'm like, there's a little bit more to it.
Yeah, there's more to it. And like for me, the other thing is you gotta be careful where you are too, like in the communities. So like me, I tend to like hide behind the paywall kind of deal. So I'm in the funded trader, I'm in like the funded trader chat and the affiliate chat, but I don't dare go into the general chat. And like in Forex League, I don't dare go into the general chat there because it's a little bit of anything.
The general chat, talking about the funded trader, the general chat is like if it was legitimately a kingdom, the general chat would be like the courtyard where all like, people ranging from peasants to merchants to anyone, jesters,
pickpockets.
Exactly. Like everybody is in the general chat.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? But then the funded chat's obviously much more filtered.
Yeah. You got to get inside the castle. So like they prop the door open for you. And when you get funded, you're inside the castle.
Yeah,
You see all that out there, but you don't go mingle in it or entertain it at all.
Well, it's interesting. So there's like the paywall for Forex League, and then with the funded trader chat, it's not a paywall. I mean, sure, everyone's paying, right?
But you're paying with experience.
But it's more the experience, right? It's the expertise. Like these are people that have passed, that have gotten funded. Dude, God knows there's a lot of people that haven't passed, right? The challenge and ever gotten funded before. So it's just it's so interesting. So getting into a bit into like the challenges a bit, just because we're on this topic. For the people that just can't pass, right? They're just really having a hard time passing phase 1, passing phase 2. You've kind of gotten over the hump a little bit, and you've been able to pass a few challenges, right?
Yeah.
What do you think these people need to do to start being better?
So I can't really speak for everybody, but I can tell you, I guess, more about what I did. I try to be very strategic about everything, and I try to really like reverse engineer things. So I like to look at the finish and then look backwards, because if I have a funded account, right, and this is like my thought process before I even got funded past the phase or anything. I'm thinking, if I'm a funded trader and I have a funded account, I'm technically a professional trader. How's a professional trader going to handle themselves? So I started looking at different things, started reading books, listening to books. I don't read actual books. I listen to like Audible and stuff. But just listening to the things that people go through and the things that they did and how they kind of overcame these obstacles. And not really front running it to the point where I'm like scared to make a decision from like analysis paralysis, but just anticipating, hey, this could be a barrier, but I'm not going to worry about it, but I know it's out there. Also, looking at your data, I know a lot of people, like, you blow a challenge, they don't go back and look at the data at all.
No.
Like, they blow the challenge and they delete it off MT5 and they delete it, hide it on the dashboard, and it's like, it's just...
And then
like
they're just in their head.
Yeah, it's like it never happened. It's like, how do you get better if you don't review what you did? So, like, I was telling Blake last night, like, the MetaTrader information that I've been reviewing, I showed it to him, and I was just like, dude, like, if people aren't exporting this, as far as I'm concerned, like, you're suspect to gambling almost, because you got to look at what you're doing.
What does the data show you? So for the people that don't know what it is.
Yeah, the main thing that I look at on the data is the consecutive loss streak and how much it costs, like dollar wise or percentage wise, when you start going across different account sizes. So the dollar cost and losses or percentage, and then the length of the losing streak, and then also the max relative drawdown. So it tells you your performance. And if you start looking through different ones, you'll start to see a trend as far as how you behave during certain periods. And what I noticed was I would be in profit, and then I would take an oversized loss. when I say oversized, like something bigger than what my plan calls for. And that
And
would lead.
what's the reason behind that? Taking an oversized loss.
So
taking too many trades in one day.
Too many trades, over trading, greed. All the main things, FOMO, all the stuff that everybody talks about, but nobody really puts any context to it. So looking at it and just saying, hey, when I go into tilt, or when I FOMO into a trade, or I take too many positions on, or whatever it is, I take this loss that's too big, or I go over my personal daily loss limit, because you got to stay away from. You should never hit the daily loss limit on the the firms.
No, if you're hitting the daily loss limit, you're fucking all right.
Yeah, you got a lot. Yeah, you got bigger problems if you're doing that. So I try to cut mine to half of that. So if the challenge is max is 6, if I get to 3 is like dire. Cut the cord, shut the computer down. Like I try to shut it down after 1. Doesn't always work. I'm not perfect. I don't think any of us are. We all struggle with different things. But yeah, that's the biggest thing is.
And it's not even that. It's just like you might lose 1, and then the setup you want might be there.
Right. Yeah,
in your mind, and then that loses again, and you're like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, because you got to remember, a bad trade will keep you out of a good trade.
Yeah.
So you might go short on something that you were waiting for a long on, and then a long opportunity comes while you're in the short, and you don't know what to do now. So,
dude, yeah.
But the max relative drawdown tells you from your peak to your trough, like from the high to the low, how far you slide. So if you're sliding 10% on a losing streak,
that's a big stat.
That's a big swing.
Yeah, that's a big stat right there.
So you got to be careful with that, because if you know that you're susceptible to swinging 10% or 6% or whatever it is, this is where the reverse engineering comes in. It says, okay, well, if I build rules around this, now I've got something to hold myself accountable to.
And this comes back to psychology.
Yeah.
Right? If you understand where you're slipping, you can put in these like bumpers.
Yeah.
So psychologically you could catch yourself.
Yeah, you put the fail safes in, or I tell people on the forex league call all the time, I said, figure out what your triggers are and put a fence around them so you can't go there.
What's an example of a trigger for you?
So for me, I've got a whole list. I left my binder in my car when we came over here, but so I got a whole sheet where I've got things that I found from journaling that are specific to me. So for like my 1 hour, I set up almost like suspensions. Like, so like if I do break certain rules,
you got a suspension system?
I got suspension probation system where let's say, so for, if I take a 1% loss or release 1% profit. So if something goes into profit 1% and it comes back to break even. So I just release that money back into the market.
Yep.
I know I'm going to feel some type of way. So I should be shutting it down for an hour. That's one of them. Another one is if I make 2 directional bias shifts in 30 minutes. So if I'm long and then I switch to short, I can't keep.
How'd you cope with that one?
Because there was a period of time where I would get in stuff, and so I'm going long, right? And then it starts reversing. And the market shows you all these types of things, one to get you in and then one to get you back out. So I was explaining on the Forex League call one time about a couple weeks ago. It was a downtrend on NASDAQ. And as it's creeping down slow on a 15-minute chart. And every candle that's printing is pushing up before it comes down. Because it's got to go up to put the wick on top before it comes down, right? If you know price action, I mean, that's basic stuff. But every time that printed up, it looked like a morning star was forming. So if you're not committed to the short, oh man, that's a morning star forming. I got to close this. And then what's it do? Pushes back down.
Right.
And it does it over and over. So if you're not, you got to be committed to a direction. And that's where I found that, hey, I was in short and then this morning star printed, and then I went long and then it drugged me down. But I was short at the beginning, so I can't keep going back and forth. Like I do more damage that way. So if I'm short, I'm short. So like at the start of the day, I try to have not really a bias, but I guess it is a bias because I'm looking generally for longs only unless something.
You like put together what your direction is. So as of today, like what type of trader are you? Swing trader, day trader? What type of trader?
I say day trader. People say I'm a scalper. I'm not. I don't think I am. I call it session trading. So I'll take anywhere from 4 to 12 positions in a session. Positions, not necessarily, a position isn't like an individual idea. I might have 2 or 3 positions on because I split my sizing up.
What do you enter in first? What's the first entry you come in with? Risk-wise.
Size?
Percentage, yeah.
Usually 0.25%. Yeah. So there was a point where I was trading heavier, And that was something I realized from the data too, is the more frequently I'm trading, the lower my risk should be. Because if I'm taking 12 trades in a session, I can't risk 1%.
No.
Like I can't.
No.
It's just not.
Your risk 0.20, 0.10.
Right. So I try to stick to 0.25%. And then I might have 2.25% positions on NASDAQ, and I might have 2.25 positions on UCAD, and then 2 on AU or something. But right now I try to keep my max exposure, so max open trades, that if all 4 of my positions hit the stop loss, is 1%. And okay, I'm out 1%. Now I can regroup. But I calibrated that to my rules because 1%, 1 hour break, I got 4 positions on, news hits, something crazy happens, and all of them hit the stop loss. I'm out. I don't even have to close the trades. I don't have to leave. I'm already out of the market. So you got to set yourself up in ways that your tendencies will play in your favor.
What's one part of like this plan that you have that's overwhelming right now? Because it seems like you have a risk strategy, right? You have these boundaries, right? These probationary, whatever. What's like, because obviously in the back of your mind, you're probably thinking, how can I make everything more efficient that I'm doing, right? Like improve. So what's like one thing right now that's overwhelming that you're doing?
So I recently started journaling again, and I'd stopped because the format that I'd set it up to do it in, like, you know, my journaling system, it was too complex. And you got to be careful in the stuff that you set up for yourself, because you can't make it a chore. If you make it a chore, you're not going to want to do it. And if it's a chore and you don't want to do it, it's not going to provide the value that it should to the system.
I agree with this.
Yeah. So I had like a whole chart, and I had blocks in a spreadsheet, and I was putting position size losses, and I was putting screenshots of the trades and the stop loss and all this extra data that, you know,
you were going in.
Yeah, I was doing too much. And like MetaTrader gives you all this if you look at it. So I went from filling out this spreadsheet with blocks on it to literally I have a yellow legal pad on my desk. And as the day progresses, I write down my thoughts and my feelings. Hey, got stopped out overnight, down 0.25%, started the day, blah, blah, blah. This trade hit. Didn't enter this trade, but it hit. This trade hit stop loss immediately. And not just what happened, but how I felt about it. It's like, okay, so I just took a 4-trade losing streak. I don't think I'm fit to be continuing right now. Let me take my hour break. Let me take my 4-hour break. Let me come back tomorrow or after lunch. And just monitoring yourself, because nobody's going to come down from the ivory tower and be like, hey, Angelo, you're risking too much. Hey, Angelo, you got too many positions on.
Just you.
Yeah, Angelo, you're gonna blow your account out if you keep doing what you're doing. Like,
right.
So you got to do a lot of self-monitoring. But that's where
you have no other boss. That's trading.
That's it. Yeah.
That's trading.
Yeah, and nobody wants a boss. That's why everybody does it, because they don't want a boss, but you got to be your own boss.
Nobody wants a boss, and then nobody wants to boss themselves.
Right.
And then that's when you lose.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah. That's something else too, because like for me, I've talked to the guys a lot on the Forex League calls about like your belief system. So like if you don't believe that you're going to pass the challenge, like if you start the challenge and you don't think you're going to pass it, you shouldn't be starting it.
No.
To begin with. Like,
there's tons of people starting it that don't believe they could pass.
Yeah, like why even?
It's a hope.
Yeah, it's a hope. Like you can't hope. Like when I start a challenge, I know I'm going to pass. If I fail, like okay, I failed. I breached something, but the mindset is determination that you have to.
The mindset is I have a plan that can pass this challenge, and I'm going to pass.
Yeah,
that's the mindset.
Right, you got to get to the point where you have a plan that you look at your plan, and you say, "This is a bulletproof plan. If I execute, you know, to the T, everything that I'm supposed to be doing, there's no reason I should fail." But you know, the human factor comes in, of course. And I mean, yeah, you break rules. Yeah, you overtrade. Yeah, you do these other things from time to time. But that's where the fail safes come in. So it's like if I start overtrading, if I'm on my P's and Q's and I'm observing my rules, I should be stopping at some point. Like I shouldn't be climbing over that fence. I put the fence there so I don't go there. Why am I climbing over the fence? And sometimes you'll catch yourself and you'll be like, whoa, I'm up on the barbed wire. Like I got to stop before I get on the other side. Because if I get on the other side, I'm going to do damage.
Right. Most people just jump.
Yeah. They just jump, torn clothes and everything.
Hit a 3% trade. If I hit this 3% trade, 3-to-1 risk reward, I'll pass.
Right.
A lot of people think like that. Like, oh, I'm going to just risk 4%. If I hit 2-to-1, 8%, you know what I'm saying?
There's people that can do that and that are capable of doing that. But if you to start don't have the confidence you're going to pass, you have no business operating in that manner, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, because when you get the funded account, what are you going to do? The same thing?
Right.
So,
right. No, I mean, that's not even an option.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause for me, like I'm here for a long time, not a good time.
Mm-hmm.
So like people come in and they want to make 10K in a day. I was like, yeah, I want to make 10K in a day too, but I want to have the opportunity to do it again tomorrow.
So tell the people a little bit more, you know, about the story. So when you started trading, you were like, why'd you get into it to begin with?
So me and my wife.
You started when you were what age? 33?
I got really serious about it when I was 33. Me and my wife got engaged in 2017. And part of the way we paid for our wedding was investing.
Mm-hmm.
So in 2017, 2018, leading into 2019, when we got married, the market was, and the stock market I'm talking about, was doing pretty well as far as like recovering.
Mm-hmm.
So we caught some good deals, I call them. Like you caught stuff on sale. And then
deals.
we were able to sell it pre-wedding and actually made some money off of it. We were using it more as like a safe haven, like, hey, this money's here. So we don't use it for emergencies or whatever.
Yep.
And it ended up growing to the point where we could actually do what we needed to do with it more than we expected. So it was great.
That's amazing.
And then
doesn't get better than that.
Right. And then 2020, you know, everybody goes remote and stuff. I switched jobs then. I went back to school and my wife was trading options. And
so she was in it.
Yeah, she drug me in it. She got me in.
Yeah, she was in the mix.
Yeah, yeah. So she was trading options. I wasn't interested in all the delta, gamma, beta, theta. All
I don't know
stuff.
much about options.
I understand a little bit, but I'm not trying to sift through the contract chain and all that stuff. But I started just trading shares. So I was picking up, you know, 10 to 20 shares of like penny stocks and just trying to flip them. Well, as most people know, that like V-shaped recovery in 2020, there wasn't much you could do wrong to lose money other than not hold on to something long enough because everything was going up.
Right.
I was like, oh man, I'm great. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. And then the summer came and the market started to change. And I wasn't ready for it.
Right.
Because, you know, everybody, the market goes up. It goes up. It always goes up. But yeah, over a period of time, it does. It might be a 5-year period. It might be a 10-year period.
Right.
But in the meantime, you got to be able to react and hedge and maybe even switch short for a little while, you know, do different things. You got to know
when to be out and be in.
Right. You got to be flexible. And I didn't know how to maneuver. I was just a stiff board in the market and I was getting clapped. And I got frustrated that fall because there are certain things that in the stock market is different. So like your stop losses, your take profits aren't observed outside of market hours. No. So there was some stuff that would plummet overnight, and I'd wait for the market up in the morning. It's like, geez, like
after hours,
right, and liquidity, all that stuff. So it's like, okay, I got to do something different. And I like trading. I love trading, so I was trying to figure out, you know, what else is there. Like, there's got to be something that's easier to trade than this. So I was looking, and you know, especially when you're undercapitalized. So I found out about forex. There was a person that worked for me. When I was a retail manager back in like 2012 or 2013, they were trading forex, and I had no clue what it was. And I kind of shrugged it off back then. And then I ran back into it, and I started looking at it. I'm like, this is like an actual financial market. Like, there's money moving around here, lots of money all the time.
Very liquid.
How do I get some of this? So I started on baby pips. I took 3 courses. Can I mention people here?
Yeah.
Okay. So like
do shout outs.
Yeah, the first course I took was with Philip Anglad, shout out to Phil, with FX Pro Now. He really gave me the I guess really the hope, or I don't like the word hope, but you know, put the vision out there that, hey, this can be done. Like, there's people doing this, you can do it too. Anybody can do it. You don't have to get rich off of it. He wasn't trying to make people rich, but he was just like, hey, like, if you can make extra $1,000 a month for your family, like, that changes things.
Yeah, he created that desire to achieve, you know, something. Yeah,
right. And then after that, I took Swaggy C's course. Shout out to Swaggy C. His course, Swag Academy. That gave me the confidence in the market for real. Like,
really,
because he was really, and I'm sure a lot of people watch him.
Yep.
But like when he's in the market, like he's in and he's out. He's taking his trades.
Interesting.
Yeah. So his courses was one that really gave me the confidence to execute. And then I came to Forex League after that, and then you guys taught me to treat it like a business. So for me, if I had taken the courses in any other order, I don't know if it would have fall in the same way, but for me, it was like destined to.
That's wild.
Step 1, step 2, step 3.
How did you? So it sounds like you were able to like find the relevant information you were looking for at the time you needed it.
Yeah.
Why do you think that happened? Because most people like fumble this and buy a bunch of shit and the wrong shit, right?
I can't say it was patience because I took those 3 courses in a matter of 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't patience, but it was, I guess, doing my due diligence, like research, like looking into it and saying, what it was. And like he had this basic course, Phil had a basic course, and it was like, hey, you do this, you can make $1,000 a month, possibly, no Lambos, no
very realistic,
very realistic, and that's what gave me the hope initially. And then I moved on to other things. It's like, okay, well, I can do this. If I can do it at this scale, I can do it at a bigger scale. But you got to be patient. Like you can't just think you're going to jump straight across all the steps to the top. Like you got to climb the ladder.
That's the hardest part about all this stuff. Even, I mean, the level you're at now, level I'm at now, there's levels that we want to get to, right? And the reality is you got to be patient.
Yeah. I had a rough month, February.
Yeah.
And that was the biggest cause of that. It's like, hey, I've got all these accounts now. I just got this 200K account with FTMO. I got
a lot of responsibility.
Yeah. So I got like $500,000 in funding and 2 firms. Like, it's time to go. Like, it's go time. Let's run it up.
Let's do this.
Like, no, like, chill.
Isn't that wild? So $500,000, 500K. So if you make 5%, right? 10%, that's a good chunk.
It is. And that's where I had to slow down because when I was doing the challenges, like in November, I did 47% on challenges.
Right.
And it's like, this isn't sustainable.
Yo, that's wild.
Yeah.
47%.
Yeah.
And think of it in terms like, yeah, it's the challenge, right? Most of the companies don't make money in the challenge, but like 47%.
Yeah. But that was one of those things just like, dude, like I can do this.
That's some serious performance.
It is. There. But I was extremely overextended.
Like God.
And it was one of those times where, like for me, and there's some guys in the course I tell them, I was like, you have to know the limits of your resiliency. So you got to push it sometimes. Like you got to know how much you can come back from. It's like how deep of a hole can I dig and still climb back out of? And that's what I was doing. It was like a stress test. And it worked then, and that was where I developed a lot of my rules because I was very diligent as far as taking losses, placing orders. Like I was like, if I saw the trade, I took the trade, and my edge played out over time. That's what you're supposed to do all the time. But other things come in, to kind of mess with you, and then you get sidetracked sometimes. So, but yeah, that was crazy. Like 47%. I was like, okay. I was like, this is real.
Crazy. Yeah. That's the real deal right there. I mean, you just think, if you're on the $500,000 account, you did 47%. I mean, shit.
Yeah, right.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot. So I got to figure out how to replicate that and redo it. But
yeah, like what's the goal right now? So you've got the $500,000, and obviously to shoot for like 50% is a lot, right?
Right.
But you're obviously just trying to stick to the plan. So going into having the accounts, it sounds like you got all of them funded like at a similar time, right?
Yeah, they were all funded there's one that was funded in July, and then most of the others, with TFT at least, were October, November, and December. And then...
So you've had some of these for a little while.
Yeah.
Damn.
But see, the point is not to trade the whole $500,000 at once.
Right.
So I had
when I talked to Paladin, he said this too. He was like, I've got an account with this company, this company, this company. One of them's high risk, one of them's low risk, one of them's medium.
Yeah.
Do you do similar? What do you do with it?
So that's something I'm still working on. And like, this is all a work in progress because I'm still trying to figure it out. And it's like every time you level up, there's new challenges or new bosses you got to conquer. So my intention is to leave the account split. So all separate. So like 10K over here, 250Ks to the side, 100Ks to the side, and then 200 at FTMO and trade them individually. Well, I was watching some people on YouTube last month. And I was like, well, you know what? If I just get the trade copier, I can trade less. But I wasn't ready for it.
Less work. Yeah.
I wasn't ready for it.
So you linked them.
So I linked them and ended up doing some damage.
You linked them up.
Fortunately, I was smart enough to put the equity protection on it. So if it got down a certain percent, it just dropped it off. And I was like, okay, I can still recover from this.
Well, you know what's interesting is even on the, like, you use social trader tools.
Yeah.
Even in social trader tools, like, you could create those tiers of risk within social trader tools. You just do like a percentage of the lot size that you're using on one account, the next account, whatever. Has that been a consideration for you, or like what's the maybe like approach
For right
to just
now,
keep them separate? So what's the approach to this?
So the approach was to leave them separate so that when I do damage, because we all do damage.
Oh yeah,
You got to understand, like when you do damage, how much damage are you actually doing? Like I said, I dug a little hole for myself to work my way out of. But when you put yourself in these situations, you got to know how to get back out of them. So I intentionally put the equity protection on them. So if, hey, psychologically having 4 accounts linked up and 2 challenges, and because I had challenge phases on them too. I ended up messing up some challenges too. When it goes haywire so far, like how far can I come back from? So,
you know, it's an interesting concept. Imagine you gave like you're saying you have this plan, so you have like these boundaries that you operate within, and these 1 hour breaks, whatever. Imagine like at the beginning of the account, you gave instructions to someone that was like, put the account protection here, put this here, whatever, do the intervals of the lot sizes, and then you just went on the account and just went in. Like you just had no rule. Like you were just like, fuck it, I'm going in, and maybe you blow like, you know, 10K or whatever, but the account protection was actually only like 2K. Right. And you kind of know in the back of your mind, but at the same time, you're just like fully going in. Like, I feel like it's just interesting because that complex is like you operating freely, but within rules that you have set originally. Because you don't want to like per se be a robot, but you do at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like there should still be some creativity in what you're doing, or else you'll never figure out like the next setup or like the next idea. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's where the breakthrough comes from.
Yeah. So it's like, how do you balance that?
It's
like
a lot.
Both. Yeah.
Yeah. And that was kind of messing with me as I started with the copier. Because that was something else to monitor.
Yeah.
So I had a separate screen on my iPad and I had the trade copier on it because I didn't trust it. I didn't even know if I had set it up right, honestly, you know. So I was
when you first start using it, you don't know. Like, you don't.
Yeah. Like one thing I ran into with social trader tools, and anybody that tries it, hopefully this will help you out and you don't blow anything up. When you first set it up, it doesn't default to copy your stop losses and take profit.
No, you got to turn all that.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, yeah.
But fortunately, I tested it with a 0.01, so when I called it, it was like, okay, I can fix this. So don't just try and go ham on it immediately. Like that's something else you got to work your way through piece by piece. You know, till you fully understand.
They really got to make that default.
That should be a default.
It should be
definitely,
you know?
Yeah, but yeah, stuff like that. So I would keep it up on a separate screen, and I could monitor it and say, okay, I've got 1 position open on 4 accounts. I've got 3 positions open on 4 accounts, and make sure that, you know, it's copying properly.
I remember the one time when we did, this was a while ago, we traded like a bunch of FTMO accounts, and we used to just have like the alerts on in the email.
Oh my God, yeah, you got to turn those off.
And we had like, I think we had like 30 accounts, and it was just like open, close.
Yeah, you need like a whole inbox.
My whole email was like crazy. Yeah, but then you gotta just turn them off.
Yeah, you gotta turn them off.
You gotta turn them off. So you're getting into using social trader tools. You're gonna keep them separate.
Yeah,
completely.
Yeah. So now what I'm gonna do,
psychologically, it's better.
Yeah, for me, I'm not ready for it.
Yeah,
and I have to understand that. You know, so you know, again, knowing the limits of your resiliency. Like, you got to figure out how far.
So what do you have right now? What account sizes on what platforms?
So with TFT, I got a 10K. I have 2. The 10K actually came from a YouTube giveaway comment. So when this comes out, like, be active in the comments, everyone, because you could win a challenge from it. I got 10K off a giveaway for, I think it was like a truth about funding or something.
Video the video.
Yeah, so I got a 10K account for free, got it funded, ended up getting like a $500 payout off of it. Like that's a no brainer.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, that's so crazy. So
and listen, it's 10,000, it's $500, you know, nothing crazy, right?
Right.
But at the same time, that's better than trading demo.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like when you're trading a $10,000 account, like it is way different because the lot sizes are so small. You really got to catch them. Like you're looking at the pips, whatever. Like when you're, because a lot of people before the whole prop firm thing was trading their own money, right?
Right.
And had $1,000, $2,000, and then they're not trading 0.01s, they're trading 0.5 lots on $1,000 because the leverage is there to do it, right? The margin, and then they're losing $100 at that's for 20%.
Matter of fact, I had a $1,000 account a couple months ago with Nash, and I was trading NASDAQ on a $1,000 account, 1 to 500 leverage, and I traded sparingly because I had funding and stuff. So, but this was just like my side account, I guess.
Yeah, side chick.
Yeah. So with that one, I was really like, hey, I can be a little bit more risky on this account, and ended up doubling it in a matter of a couple months.
Sheesh.
But then I quickly started giving it back. So it was like, okay, like I'm just gonna take this out of here before something bad happens because this could go wrong.
Yeah, just save it.
Yeah, just save it. Just leave it on the side for a challenge or something if I need it later on. But don't keep gambling this thing because
Do you think there's a point of trading your own money if you don't have tens of thousands of dollars at this point in the game?
At the beginning, you can do it just to get skin in the game to start.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think that's a good thing to do, but don't go into it with the mentality that you're going to flip it you can do that, but not with your last or not with something that you need. Think that, hey, I'm going to flip this and pay the rent and flip this and pay my card note and insurance and stuff. Like, no, it's not.
Yeah, I remember we already talked to this, but I remember we talked to this amongst ourselves, but I remember in the beginning when you were trading, you had a 5K account, your own money, and you lost 20% of it. And so you were down $1,000 and you came to us and was like, listen, this is my situation. I'm down a bunch of money, whatever. And we were just like, you've controlled your risk. You've cut your losses. You've lost 20%, but at the same time, it's not like you lost it all in one trade.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you were really controlling the risk. Most people would just blow that account. So how did you, what was the thinking to make that happen?
I've always been a very risk adverse person.
Mm-hmm.
And the way I approach trading was I need to be able to stay in the game long enough to reap the fruits from the harvest. So when I first started,
which is very true.
Yeah. So that 2020 September, when I funded that account with 5K, I funded it with Oanda.
Mm-hmm.
And I literally started trading forex live from day one. All I knew was how to put in a stop loss and a take profit, and I risked very little, and I put the trades on.
Yep.
I'd make some money, I'd lose some money, and I felt like I was a perfect break even trader.
Your brain was probably going nuts.
Yeah, it was.
You're probably this is wild.
Yeah, it was, and I was like a perfect break even trader for a while, and then I started sliding a little bit, and of course I hadn't really discussed with anybody because people were so secretive about what they're doing, and everybody's making money. I'm like, geez, man, I'm down 20%.
Everyone's making money.
Yeah, I'm down 20% on this account over 6, but it took me 6 months to lose that much. So I'm like,
yep. Yeah, it was a long time. It wasn't overnight.
Yeah.
It was a long time.
Yeah, it took me 6 months to lose 20% from literal bottom, no experience, nothing. And then you stop me, you're like, dude, that's all you lost? He's like, you're good, take a break.
This was 3% a month.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were controlling it. I mean, on average, but
yeah.
3% a month. And if you think of it, I mean, that's not, it just means you didn't have an edge.
Right. I didn't.
While you were trading over those 6 months, but you survived over the 6 months. So going to where you're at now, right? What changed to make it have different results, to have better results for you?
Systems and strategies.
You think it's,
and psychology. But the psychology is what you need to use to build the systems.
The systems and strategies. I was going to say,
yeah. You need the psychology piece to be able to make everything else work. Like you can build this powerful engine, but if you don't have no oil in it, you're going to blow it up instantly. As soon as you turn the crank, it's gone. So
right. And you could also have, going to a car analogy, you could have the best engine, the best parts, the best oil, the best fuel. But then if someone gets in that doesn't have the skill to operate the vehicle, vehicle doesn't go anywhere.
It doesn't go anywhere.
But then you get some guy who's, extremely skilled at driving, at drifting, or whatever. He gets in a fucking tin can and he's making that thing look like a supercar.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? And that can relate to anything. You can relate to trading. If you tell someone who is a very disciplined trader, very experienced, and you're like, go take one setup. This is the setup you could take. Only take that setup.
Yeah.
they'll probably maximize that setup. And then if you give a very inexperienced trader that struggles with all these, the emotions of trading, and give them 10 setups, they're not going to make $1.
No.
Right?
Yeah, we were talking about it on a call the other week, and it's like you could give 10 people a strategy, and only one person will probably be able to execute it properly. Because a lot of people will hit me up now. It's like, oh, what strategy are you using? What strategy are you using? I'm like, I've got like all these different things that are mixed up. So it's not one definite strategy. Like, I like this, I take a piece. I like that, I add that in. Something stops working, I remove it.
This is such good information for anyone listening to this, because this relates also very much to business, not just trading. Because even with TFT, for example, right, talking about strategy with maybe it's operations or marketing or support, is you can't just operate freely every day, right? There's a strategy, there's a way of going about things, there's a process. And the process, if it's set in stone this way and you're getting results, right, some sort of results, then you should continue to add and take away from the process to improve it over time.
Yeah, and monitor.
Yeah, monitor, add, and take away. Like, it's so funny because I'm always approached with, oh, we should potentially revamp this. And I'm like, it's working, right? So we're not going to ditch it.
Yeah, you're not going to tear it down and rebuild it.
Because for the people that haven't had a successful business or trading, whatever, it is so hard to find a successful strategy, right? It is so difficult. So once you find it, you have made it, right? You have made it happen. So you have to keep simply improving it. It's not rocket science.
Yeah, you can't completely strategy hop.
And for those that, you can't strategy hop. For those that, the reason why the whole guru thing, forex gurus just in general and in online is popular is because, to an extent, it is appropriate to find a strategy that works, right? A business model, a trading strategy, whatever, and then to replicate it and to put your own creativity, your own flavor, your own ideas behind it. There is actually merit to that.
Rip off and duplicate.
There is, like, every business that I've started has been me innovating on an existing idea per se. Like, I haven't reinvented the fucking wheel here.
Yeah, because you got to think, it's 2023. There's nothing new under the sun. Like, everybody's done something.
Yeah.
Or once before.
Everyone's got access to a lot of information. Yeah. Like you said, there's been a lot of things, made and stuff. Sure. I mean, could there be a new challenge that we create? Could there be a new strategy that comes? Yeah, of course. But at the same time, it's like, the principles of what's going on is very much present. Like, this society, this capitalistic world we live in is developed. The market's developed, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that it's just very good feedback, very good information. Like, find the process and add and remove. Do not go from process and then ditch it and then go to a new process.
Right.
If you're getting some results. Sure. If you have zero results, right, it's process doesn't work at all, then okay, maybe scrap it, right? But if you're seeing some results, don't give up so soon.
Yeah, because you got to tailor it to yourself. Like, I can't wear your suit. You can't wear my suit.
No.
So you got to take what's there, take the material, and then cut it and mend it the way it fits. Because, like, I don't know how you're trading now or if you trade anymore at all, but the way I trade wouldn't work for you. The way you trade wouldn't work for me. Like, that's what it is. And that's why I don't understand why everybody's so secretive about what they're doing, because I could give you everything that I'm doing, like everything. Right. But you wouldn't be able to execute it.
Yeah. So right now I'm currently not like day trading at all. I'm just investing. Right. If I'm very confident at this point that if someone came to me tomorrow and was like, hey, you have to get a $5,000 payout in FTMO, right? Or funded my own money, right? Whatever. I'm very confident that I'd be able to pull it off, because it's all, like we're talking about, it's all strategy, testing, psychology, reviewing the information and improving.
That's it.
It's a very honest process. Yeah. Like, if you stick to the honest, if you tell yourself the truth and stick to the process, you can be very successful.
Yeah. So, like, I went back to school for business. And I graduated summa cum laude, all that stuff, right?
I remember I remember the shout out LinkedIn and everything. Yeah.
Yeah. So what I pulled, or one of the things that I pulled from it, because I didn't go back to school to like run somebody else's business. I went back to school so I can figure stuff out for myself. Because people always ask you, oh, where are you going to apply it? What are you going to do? That type of stuff. And
I was thinking today, I'm like, I would never fuck that.
Yeah. But one of the things I pulled from that educational piece was from I think it was operations management course or something, but it was related to Six Sigma. So my whole trading strategy is built off of DMAIC.
For people that don't know.
Yeah. So
what is it?
So you got to define what the strategy is. You have to measure the results. You have to analyze the data. You have to improve it. And then you continue or control it. I mean, control. And you just keep revising it. So, okay, I'm taking these types of setups. Okay. Well, okay. I start taking these setups. I measure my results. This is where you go back to your MetaTrader data and you look at it. Don't just ditch the account when you blow it. Like, you need that information. So define the strategy, trade it, measure the results. You analyze the data. Okay, I could do this better. This is working. Let me leave it alone. You improve it. Then you control it.
Yep.
It's a cycle. It's a loop. That's all you have to do. But people make it so complex. And they don't want to take the time to do that. So you have to take the time to really do all the steps.
That reflection.
Yeah, that reflection.
That's self-reflection. Yeah. And for anyone that is a younger bull that's listening to this and they're like, oh, I don't want to go to school, college. But like, no, what I'm trying to say is school is an opportunity, right? To open up the mind to learn new tools that you can then utilize, whether you want to get a job or whether you want to start your own business, right? Or you want to be a consultant for other businesses or something, right? Yeah. It's literally just a way for you to acquire more tools. If you're going to school and you're taking, Pinocchio 101 and, comm classes only and all this stuff, guess what? It's maybe, it'll improve you intellectually. Maybe your communication's bad, so maybe comm's actually good for you. But I think if you're not trying to acquire things that then can position you to chase the dreams that you have, It's not just business, right? It could be you want to be a musician. It could be that you want to be a backup dancer or something, right? It could be that you want to be a statue on the side of the street, right?
Use it for anything.
Find the classes that actually will build the skills that you need for your career, right? That you want to have your dream. And then it can be beneficial. If you're just going in the hole, tons of money, right? Taking a bunch of classes, showing up half the time, never not taking notes, but never paying attention, whatever. It's such a waste.
Yeah.
Such a waste.
Yeah, and a lot of people go.
And you went back later, so it's like you obviously valued the time.
Yeah, yeah. When I went back, I was 33, and I did an accelerated course. I got my bachelor's in 2.5. But a lot of people go back for the wrong reasons, too. Or even start the first time for the wrong reasons. Like, you go to get a degree in whatever field, and you don't even have a passion for that field. Dude, you're just doing it for the money.
That was the craziest part for me about when I first went to college, because both my parents and I went to college, right? Like, my grandparents didn't go to college. I was the first one to go to college. So, no one knew anything about college.
Right.
So when I first went, and there was like an orientation, and they're just like, oh, pick your major. And I'm like, what major? Like, what do you mean a major? Right. Like, I had no idea what the hell was going on. And they spend so little time on that. And sure, there's resources there for you to go out and grab and whatnot. But as someone who was young, I wasn't myself ready for that. No. So to your point, there's so many people getting just wrapped up in this thing.
Yeah, because like when I went to college the first time I went, I looked at the sheet and I was like, okay, well, where can I make the most money? And that's what I started.
Right.
Like, that's just the approach. But that's the mindset, too, when you're younger sometimes.
So as someone who went back, so you went to school originally and then went back. So you didn't finish the first time.
Right.
Okay. And then you went back and finished the bachelor's. Mm-hmm. So anyone, any advice for people out there that are trying to go back to school and stuff?
For me, initially went back to get a different job. And then over time,
What job were you in before?
So I was doing retail. I did retail for 16
Your retail, sales or something, or no?
I started in high school and kept getting promoted. And that was when I ended up dropping out the first time. I was like, oh, I don't need a degree. I can make the money doing retail. And I was a department lead, and then I was a sales manager, and I was operations manager. And then like the last 10 years I did it, I was general manager. And
so you climbed the retail ladder.
Yeah, I climbed the retail ladder, and I learned a lot of valuable skills doing that too, because I was coaching people, I was mentoring, I was training, I was creating systems, I was doing all the business.
You're running the show.
Yeah, I was running the show, and didn't even realize you
were making the main guy the big bucks.
Yeah, I was making the main guy the big bucks.
And you were the cog.
Right.
You were a very important part of the company, realistically.
Right. And then at some point, something clicks and you realize, like, I could do all this stuff for myself. Like, yeah, I might not make the same amount of money as doing it for somebody else. I have the same convenience factor of, clocking in, clocking out, getting a consistent paycheck every Friday. But all those skills that I learned there, I've now applied into building my trading plan, trying to build businesses, stuff like that. So as you get all this experience, like, it's not for nothing. Like, not at all. So, like, for me, like, my weekend review thing that I do, the idea came from retail, because we had a system, it was called BizFit, where basically we got all this data downloaded every Sunday. And we would look at the data and we say, okay, this percentage is off, this is bad, this is good, let me work on this week. And that's what I would do. I would try
That's
to
wild. That's a good system.
Yeah. And that's what I'm using my MetaTrader data for now is, okay, let me pull a month of data, let me pull this last challenge, let me look at it and say, okay, I didn't execute on this, this was in place, this didn't work. Well, let me see how I can do it better. And then do it again. And then do it again. Because you're not at any point, you're not going to be any worse of a trader than you are today. You're not going to go back to where you were 6 months ago or where you were 2 years ago.
Unless you take some shots and go on the charts.
Yeah. But
and then you start being a little reckless.
Yeah, but then that'll wear off eventually. So,
I get what you mean, though. The experience level is raised.
Yeah, the experience level is going to be raised. Like, you're not going to go down in levels. Like, yeah, your behavior might be off. Yeah, you might not execute properly for a day or two, but you're going to get better. You're not going to get worse than you are, so don't quit. Like, don't go back. That's the only way you lose is if you quit.
I agree. Thinking, okay, so now, you've gotten some accounts with TFT. What was like the most exciting moment for you in the journey so far with trading and being your own boss and building this business and stuff?
There's probably two of them, actually. So one of them was based off like the Forex League challenges. So we get a challenge every month, basically. It's 10K. I'm an OG member, so when I pass the 10K, I get a 50K.
You're lucky.
So yeah, I'm lucky. I was in before 2021 or 2022.
So lucky.
Yeah. So
that was such a glitch.
Yeah, a glitch in the matrix, right? So, and all this time, like all these months for the past year and a half, I took that challenge every month and I looked at the data and I got better and better. And I passed one of those in the midst of my breakthrough, and I passed that one. So basically, I pay $5 a month for it. Paid $5 for it, right? For this challenge.
Nuts. And so what? $300 challenge or whatever, right? Yeah. About that.
But essentially, it's a 3-phase because I had to pass the 10K.
Yep.
Then I passed the 50K phase 1 and then a 50K phase 2. And after that, I got funded 50K account and I made $2,400 on it. So, like, for me, that's like the ultimate account flip. Like, I flipped $5 into $2,400. Yeah, like that was.
And think about, all right, so between the 3 phases, you made 25% to pass. Right. And then on the 50K account, you made 5%.
I made 6, and then with the profit split, I only got 5.
You made 6%. So you made 31% on $5, basically.
Right.
Like if you were to put the $5 into a trading account, you made 31%. So you technically would have made, I don't know what, $1.
Right. Yeah. But that's the power of funding.
It's fucking wild.
Power of funding and leverage.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other one, exciting. I posted it on Twitter a while back. It was right after Christmas, right before the end of the year. So while I was in school, there's a project I had. It was basically like start a business project. And I was like, well, I'm actually going to try this. I'm going to start it. Some people know about it. Some people don't. But I originally labeled Credit Trades with this, and I was doing.
Yeah, you got the gear on.
Dude, it's part of the belief system. I wear this stuff every day. Like, you ask my wife or anybody.
Dude, you know, with Forex League, I wore that shit.
Right.
Almost every day.
Yeah.
Like, I still wear it.
Right.
Now.
You have to. Why not?
I'm not wearing it now, but I have the new TFT shirts. And now I start to wear those every day.
Yeah. So with that, I started this business on 3D tours, right? I had a website, had a scheduler, had all this stuff going out. I was going out to open houses and talking to real estate agents and saying like who's going to use me. So I ended up doing a few. I started an LLC, and this is how I started like building like business credit and stuff like that. Bought the camera equipment. It was like $6,000 with that and the iPad and all this stuff. Ended up taking a loss on it. And this is another thing. Like you got.
Oh wait, I remember this.
Yeah.
I remember this actually.
Yeah. So it got to a point where it was basically like, hey, my subscription's running out, my insurance is running out. Like all the stars were aligning, and it was basically like, if I'm going to exit, like if I'm going to jump out of the moving car, I need to do it on this patch of grass before I get to the concrete. So it's like, I'm done. I was like, if I don't get enough to cover my subscription for the next year, I'm going to sell the equipment and move on. And that's what I did. And in the midst of that time running out, I had partially my breakthrough in trading, and I ended up making back. And this is like the most exciting part for me was I made $5,800 with the refund. So it was actually like the payout from the video I did with Dennis. It was $5,100. But when the payout came,
shout out Dennis.
Yeah, shout out to Dennis, community manager,
the man.
So when the payout came, I owed $5,891 on this credit card that the 12-month financing had ran out on. And they were nailing me. And
big interest.
Yeah, big
10%.
interest. Yeah, big interest. Like it was like $100 a month interest added up, tacked on every month. Like it was going up.
Yeah.
And I got a payout for $5,891. I'm sorry, $5,888. And I had $5,891 on the credit card. And I said, this is my sign to hang it up.
That is the sign.
I took the payout, I paid off the business credit card, and I was like clean and clear from there. I was like, okay. Dude. So like that was like the most exciting thing. It was like, okay, I can actually walk away from this 3D tour thing that failed and do something else. Because nobody's first business is going to take off and take them to the moon. Like,
no.
Like you got to fail before you win.
No.
So that for me, the whole experience was, there's nothing to regret out of it. Like I learned a lot. I was able to build business credit, stuff like that. So you got to take the chances.
Yeah.
But you got to be smart about the risks that you're taking. You can't just YOLO everything. Like you got to take a calculated risk and understand that if you miss, know where you're going to land before you jump. Yeah.
Yeah. For those, you guys out there selling weed, might want to give up on that.
Yeah. But it's the same principles and everything.
Establish what your risk is. You can't do that shit forever.
Right. But it's the same thing. Like,
because there's people listening to this, extremely entrepreneurial. They're out here selling everything.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Trading is a very diverse game. There's a lot of different actors in this industry. People are trying to make money at the end of the day. Dude. And like you said, comes a time when you gotta quit on a business.
Right.
Especially if it's unprofitable. Like if it's unprofitable, quit. If it's super risky, quit. Right.
Yeah.
There comes a time when you gotta really stack it up. So dude, congrats, obviously congrats getting the payout. I remember now the tweet and everything. We retweeted and stuff. Congrats on getting that, clearing it out. And so now Creedy Trades, was that entity used for Creedy Trades or you created a new company?
So I merged it.
Okay.
So it was all one, which I shouldn't have done to begin with. And now it's pretty much wiped from 3D Tour stuff.
Oh, okay. So you had two entities for one business or two ideas for one entity. Yeah. Anyone out there that's listening, don't do that.
Don't do that. Yeah. And my thought process was, because I had a lot of hope in trading, even from the beginning.
Yep.
I just didn't know how long it was going to take. So I told somebody this last week. I think it was on the forex call. I was like, I wanted to lock up the domain. So credittrades.com, that's my website. I wanted to lock the domain up before somebody else saw me trading, sort of like people do with like the Instagram scams and stuff, like the extra accounts and stuff.
Then you would be like Creedy-Trades.
Right. And then somebody would try to sell me the domain for some stupid amount of money. Yeah. So I locked the domain up while I could. And a guy is actually rebuilding it for me right now to rebrand it with trading. So
that's like the Funded Trader domain was not available. And we couldn't flag the guy down.
Yeah.
So we got the Funded Trader program.
Right.
Yeah. .com. The domains are a huge thing.
Yeah.
But listen, I think that it's the first step is you want to build something of value, right? That's the ultimate goal, is to build something of value that eventually you can either sell or you can build a community around, right? You can meet other people and it can turn into something more than it is now. But the first step is just to build something of value. And the reality is, as a trader, as someone who's building skill, you're building value with which people would benefit from that are struggling and whatnot. And that's why starting a brand, because there's many people out here that are like, why start to do a course? Why start to sell?
Right.
And it's like, my whole thinking was like, why limit ourselves to one source of income?
Right.
Why limit ourselves to putting unneeded pressure on ourselves? Because like when we were first doing Forex League, I was working a regular job. I was trading, I was trading FTMO. I was trading my own money. I was trying 100 other ideas. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I was just doing as much as I could. And eventually one of the things kind of stuck. I mean, granted, the Forex thing was my main thing. Like that was,
right.
I knew that's what I really was passionate about. But beyond that, I was always just trying to keep an open mind as to what was out there. But yeah, like it's definitely the time for you to take it to another level with the, you have your entity, you have the branding, you have all of that. I mean, there's nothing more rewarding than building your own brand.
Right.
What's more rewarding?
Yeah, nothing.
Nothing.
And like for me, like even at the beginning, it was part of the belief system. Like I said, like I bought these shirts and hats and stuff, and I wore them every day. Because when I put that type of emphasis behind it, you can't quit. Like, we're just gonna burn all the shirts up, like.
Yeah. No, I've always been like a huge believer in that. Always even like on the Forex League calls, I used to yell at Nick because I'm like, dude, why aren't you wearing the hat? Like,
right.
Just wear the hat.
Yeah.
It's not so. It's like it's just such a. It's like if you show up every day and you're wearing the hat, right, and you're continuing to establish the beliefs, and you're developing the skills, it's inevitable.
It's a matter of time.
It's a matter of time before something happens, and that's just the way that it goes. Yeah. If you're showing up Wednesday wearing the hat, then Friday you're not, then Saturday you're wearing the hat, then you don't wear it for a week. You know what I'm saying? That inconsistency is the difference between me and you.
Right.
Ultimately. And if it's like let's think about it, if it's like a fight, right? We're about to go into a fight in 3 months and you've been training every third day. You know what I'm saying? You diet every third day. I'm training every day. I'm doing cold plunge. I'm doing everything that I can. I'm showing up to the fight and I'm going to rip your head off.
Yeah. That's just what it is.
That's just what it is.
It's preparation.
So when you put two brands up against each other, right, they're going into a fight. And that's why I always love the battle, the kingdom, the battle theme, whatever. Because if you put two entities, two companies against each other, two brands, and one of them's fucking... They're doing happy hours all the time and, doing bullshit stuff with HR and all this random shit. And the other companies, everyone's heads down, grinding, has a purpose, has strategy, and they're going at it every single day. And then, clocking out, clocking in, making it happen. They're gonna kill this other company, realistically.
Yeah, it's just a matter of time to when the preparation meets opportunity.
It's not even that. It's a matter of time before that other... It's like putting it as the analogy. It's a matter of time before it's either you against the markets and you legit kill the market in one area. Like you make a ton of money, you murder a setup, you hold a position longer than you originally would have and made a shit ton of money. Or, it's you against another brand and you're acquiring their customers. You're able to innovate better than them on the products. You're able to do better than them on marketing, whatever. Right. At the end of the day, like you're saying, like that opportunity is just, it's over time. Like it's just domination. Yeah. At the end of the day.
So you have to keep preparing until the opportunity presents itself, and when it presents itself, that's when you're ready.
Well, now, that's what I'm saying. Stay ready. Stay prepared. But then now it's execute.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. So, we're gonna start to wrap it up. What's like you're down right now?
Yeah, a little bit.
You're down a little bit right now, right?
On a couple TFT accounts, I'm good on FTMO right now.
Oh, okay. So you're chilling.
So
But the TFT accounts, you're down. What's the strategy? How are you gonna get out of this?
Yeah, so I loaded them on the trade copier, did a little bit of damage on 3 of them.
Mm-hmm. How many do you have total accounts again? Individually.
5 with TFT, and then 1 with FTMO.
Okay, that's a lot of accounts.
Yeah, that's a lot.
So yeah, 5 with TFT. So yeah, what's the plan?
Yeah, so and this goes back to the data before. So understanding what I know now, I go back and look at my data a lot, especially when I have a bad day, and I realize that when I was taking those challenges, and this is a good point for anybody that's doing challenges, when you get down and draw down, don't just hang it up. Don't just blow it up. Don't quit. Like, you got to fight the good fight and bring it back. Because if you can't bring it back on the valuation, you stand no chance of bringing it back when you go live.
That's when you got to dig the heels in.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I've got one account, like a printout of it, and I keep it. It's in my binder. And I had an account that was an 11.09% drawdown. And I brought it back and passed it within the time frame. So, like, for me, it's like, it's not over until it's over.
And you have the same, dude, you have the same mentality as me because, for example, when I play tennis, right? When I play tennis, I'll be down 5 sets to nothing, right? And I'll be down to the last point. I'll be down 40 to nothing on the set, right? And you know what I'll think in the back of my mind? I'm going to come all the way back.
Right. Right. There's nothing more rewarding than bringing that back.
And I'll literally say, if I'll make a point, I'll be like, this is the start of the comeback.
Right. Right.
It's a mentality at the end of the day.
Yeah. So just understanding that and being able to bring it back. Like, if you can bring back the evaluation, you can bring back the funded one because you know what to do to bring it back. But yeah, that's the important thing for me is looking at the data and understanding, hey, like, maybe I need to back my risk down now. And understand that it's going to take longer to bring it back because there's no time limit. Like, who cares? I can do other challenges. I can
Constant reflection.
Yeah. Like, there's no reason to blow one of these accounts up. Like, I can just take one setup on it a day for the rest of the year if I have to. And then when they're back, I'll probably have other ones that I've passed by that point. But generally, if I get more than 6% in drawdown on one account, I'll get another to start working on. That way, if things do go wrong, which I don't anticipate, I usually have the mentality that I'm going to bring it back until it's breached. But I'll start another one. So my timer is started already. That way, if I lose, like, so right now that 10K account is down like 6 or 7%. So if I lose that 10K account, I'm gonna have a 100K account to replace it. If I lose one of my 50Ks, I want to have 100K to replace it. If I lose 100K, I want to have 200 to replace it. Because there was like this great debate on Twitter a few weeks ago where people are talking about, do you want to keep your accounts forever or do you just want to drain the firms? And I'm like, do both.
I can't believe that's a conversation.
Yeah, like,
you want to drain the firms.
Yeah, like, do you want to get as much payouts as possible or do you want to keep your accounts forever? And it's like, do both.
Right. Yeah.
Do both.
Listen, I look at it like this: is the opportunity is here.
Right.
You might as well take advantage.
Yeah. And
that's it.
The other thing I look at it is if I go through the phases, I get the account funded, I get my payout. And the first thing I do when I get a funded account is I trade very carefully with my 0.25% to get to the first payout so I can get my refund. And now I'm risk free.
Yep.
It's like moving your stop loss to break even. Like, if you don't do that, like, you cannot blow your account up before the first payout. You at least need to get your refund back. So that's what I did with the FTMO account. I babied it. I went down like 3%. I brought it back above break even before profit split day. I got my refund back to my credit card. And now I've got an account, a 200K account that I'm trading risk free. Like, I'd have nothing to lose.
That's wild.
Yeah. But that's the way you have to think about it. Like, people don't think about it that way.
The backup accounts.
Yeah. Yeah. So I got my payout back. If I want to buy another account, I can buy another account. I still have this one. I can do other things, but you got to be very methodical in what you're doing. And more so, not just being methodical, but believe what you're doing. Because, accepting something is true is just as powerful as hypnosis. So if you believe it, like, you got to be, you're almost hypnotized. Like, that's your belief. Like, you have to believe it.
Yep. Well, listen, I challenge you to dream bigger than you even are right now. From my perspective, there's a ton of opportunity out there, just not even only with TFT, with all these other companies. So yeah, challenge you to do that. Where can the people find you out here if they want to connect with you?
I'm on Twitter mostly, Instagram. Let's see. TikTok, not so much. I might pick it up there.
Creedy Trades TikTok.
Yeah, Creedy Trades everywhere. So Creedy Trades
Discord,
Twitter.
Discord, right?
Discord, yeah. You can message me in Discord.
Yep.
Try to be a member of either Forex League or TFT or my wife's community, Bullish Trades, because if I don't have a mutual server, I probably won't accept you. So yeah, I'm Creedy Trades everywhere, and then creedytrades.com is my website. It's getting rebuilt.
We're going to link below in the description. We'll put links if you want to some of the where people can find you.
Yeah.
And we're going to give you some cash for coming out. Appreciate you coming out for the weekend.
Yeah. I'm an affiliate too, by the way.
I don't have it on me, but
that's cool. But also I'm an affiliate too. So if you guys like anything that I'm like any of the gems I'm dropping, like support me, buy the account through my link. It's in my link tree and whatnot. So
TFT patron account. But yeah, man. Thanks for hopping on. Appreciate it.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you bringing me down here.
Another pod. Like and subscribe. Thanks, guys.